Dominance is loud, but the Stoics knew that true power is not found in shouting down your opponents, but in silencing the weakness within yourself. This is the path to that quiet, unbreakable dominance. Silence weakness, unlock dominance. Stoic depth, emotional mastery, compiled and published by Stoic Dominion. Lesson 1. The voice of inner weakness. Imagine a great and wise king, sitting on his throne, attempting to rule his kingdom with reason and justice. But next to his ear, a treacherous and cowardly courtier is constantly whispering. "You are not strong enough," it whispers. "The people do not respect you. Your enemies are everywhere. It is safer to hide in the castle." If the king listens to this voice, his reign will be one of fear, indecision, and weakness. This treacherous courtier is the voice of inner weakness that lives inside every one of us. The inner conflict we face is that we are the king, and we are constantly listening to this voice. It is the voice of self-doubt, of fear, of laziness, of the part of us that craves comfort and avoids all risk. The fundamental problem is that when you allow the voice of inner weakness to become your primary advisor, you build a life that is a monument to your own perceived limitations. This voice is a master of disguise. It calls its cowardice prudence. It calls its laziness self-care. It calls its fear of failure realism. By listening to it, you become paralyzed. You don't apply for the promotion because the voice whispers that you will be rejected. You don't start the business because the voice whispers that you will fail. You don't have the difficult but necessary conversation because the voice whispers that it will lead to conflict. This voice is the architect of a small, safe, and deeply unsatisfying life. It is the silent killer of all your grandest ambitions and your noblest potentials. It is the traitor in your own court, ensuring your reign is small and fearful. The transformative solution is to learn to recognize, isolate, and ultimately silence the voice of inner weakness. It is the conscious and courageous choice to listen instead to your hegemonicon, your ruling faculty of reason. The core Stoic idea is not to pretend that this voice doesn't exist. It does. It is a natural part of the human animal. The Stoic practice is to see this voice for what it is, an unreliable, fearful, and irrational advisor. You must learn to treat it with the same skepticism a wise king would treat a known traitor. You acknowledge its presence, you listen to its counsel dispassionately, and then you calmly and deliberately choose to act based on the advice of a more noble counselor, your own reason and your chosen virtues. You can begin the practice of silencing this voice with two powerful techniques. The first is label and dismiss. The moment you hear that familiar whisper of self-doubt or fear, you must label it. Say to yourself, "I recognize that. That is the voice of weakness." This simple act of labeling creates a separation between you, the king, and the voice, the treacherous courtier. It is not your true voice. The second step is to immediately dismiss its counsel and take one small, concrete step in the opposite direction. If the voice says, "Don't go to the gym, you're too tired," your disciplined action is to immediately put on your gym clothes. This is an act of defiance, a declaration of who is truly on the throne. The benefits of this practice are the benefits of reclaiming your own kingdom. You will be liberated from the paralysis of self-doubt. You will find the courage to take on the challenges you have been avoiding. You will build a powerful sense of self-trust, knowing that you are guided by your highest self, not your weakest impulses. Your world will begin to expand as you systematically silence the voice that has been keeping it small. Your practice for this lesson is to be a vigilant king for the rest of the day. Listen for the voice of inner weakness. When you hear it, label it, and then deliberately do the opposite of what it advises, even in one small way. To silence this voice, you must first understand the true borders of your kingdom, the realm where your control is absolute. In our next lesson, we will explore this foundational principle. If you are ready to depose the traitor in your court, please like this video. Lesson 2. Your realm of true control. Imagine you are an emperor of a vast and magnificent domain. At the center of this domain is your imperial palace, your sanctum sanctorum. Within these palace walls, your word is absolute law. You control every guard, every servant, every thought, every decision. This is your realm of true control. Beyond the palace walls lie the outer provinces, the rest of the world. You can influence these provinces, you can send out edicts and armies, but you cannot truly control them. They are subject to rebellions, foreign invasions, and natural disasters. The inner conflict that causes our greatest misery is that we act like a foolish emperor who ignores his own palace, letting it fall into disarray, while spending all his time and resources trying to command the wind and the rain in the outer provinces. The fundamental problem with this mindset is that it is a perfect formula for a life of anxiety and impotence. When you invest your emotional well-being and your sense of self-worth in the outer provinces, in what other people think of you, in whether you get a specific outcome in the behavior of your loved ones, you have guaranteed a life of frustration. You have made your peace contingent on things that are by their very nature uncontrollable. This leads to a constant feeling of powerlessness. You feel like a victim of circumstance, constantly battered by events, because you have focused all your energy on a territory where you are not the true sovereign. You are the emperor who is obsessed with a distant rebellion while his own throne is being stolen from under him. The transformative solution is to adopt the Stoic mindset of the wise emperor. It is the life-altering practice of clearly distinguishing between your inner kingdom, your realm of true control, and the chaotic outer provinces. The core idea of Stoicism, the dichotomy of control, is this: some things are up to us, and some are not. What is up to us? Our thoughts, our judgments, our intentions, our actions, the internal world of the palace. What is not up to us? Everything else, our reputation, our health in the long run, the actions of others, the events of the world. The Stoics' entire life project is to turn their focus away from the uncontrollable outer provinces and to dedicate themselves to becoming the perfect, absolute, and virtuous ruler of their own inner kingdom. You can begin to define your realm of control with a powerful daily practice. This is the practice of sorting the mail. Imagine every worry, every problem, and every desire that enters your mind is a piece of mail delivered to your palace gate. Your second daily task is to sort this mail. For each piece, you must ask, is this matter concerning my inner kingdom or the outer provinces? If it is a worry about what someone else thinks of you, you mark it "Return to sender" and refuse to let it into your palace. If it is a frustration about the traffic, you recognize it as news from the outer provinces, uncontrollable and therefore unworthy of your emotional investment. If it is a matter of your own response to the traffic, your own choice to be patient, that belongs in your inner kingdom, and you give it your full attention. The benefits of this practice are nothing short of liberation. You will be freed from the immense burden of trying to control the world. A vast amount of your mental and emotional energy will be returned to you. Energy that was previously being wasted on pointless worry and frustration. Your power and effectiveness will skyrocket, as you will be directing your entire force toward the one area where you have absolute control, your own actions and character. You will develop a profound sense of inner peace and invulnerability, knowing that as long as you are ruling your inner kingdom with virtue, nothing in the outer provinces can truly harm you. Your practice for this lesson is to take one current worry that is plaguing you, put it through the mail sort. Identify which parts are outside your control and make a conscious decision to let them go. To rule your inner kingdom effectively, you must learn to command the treacherous noise of your own court. In our next lesson, we will explore the practice of noble silence. Subscribe to Stoic Dominion to continue fortifying your inner empire. Lesson 3. The practice of noble silence. Imagine a wise and powerful advisor to a king. The king's court is filled with noisy, flattering, and foolish courtiers, all chattering, all offering their uninformed opinions, all vying for attention. The wise advisor, however, remains silent. They observe, they listen, they watch the dynamics of the court. Then, after everyone else has exhausted themselves, the king turns to the silent advisor, who speaks only a few carefully chosen words. And these words, because of the silence that preceded them, have the weight of gold. They change the course of the kingdom. This is the power of noble silence. The inner conflict we face is our fear of this silence. We feel that to be valuable, to be seen, to be a part of the group, we must join the chorus of the chattering courtiers. The problem with this compulsive need to speak is that it is an admission of weakness. It signals to the world that you are uncomfortable with your own thoughts and that you require the validation of being heard to feel that you exist. It leads to careless speech. You offer opinions on things you know little about. You engage in gossip to feel a sense of belonging. You make promises you cannot keep. This devalues your verbal currency. When you speak constantly, your words become cheap and plentiful, like copper coins. When the silent man speaks, his words are like rare gold, treated with immense respect and attention. By speaking too much, you are not only revealing your insecurities, you are squandering your power and your influence. The transformative solution is to embrace the Stoic practice of noble silence. This is not about being sullen, withdrawn, or antisocial. It is about the strategic and disciplined use of silence as a tool of power, observation, and wisdom. The core Stoic idea is that a wise man is a man of few words, polyloquent. He understands that most of what is said in the world is noise, and he refuses to add to it. He uses silence to create the necessary space to think before he speaks, to truly listen to others, and to conserve his mental energy for what truly matters. Noble silence is not an absence of sound. It is the presence of a disciplined, observant, and powerful mind. Your third daily task is to practice the art of deliberation. This means infusing your day with deliberate, purposeful silence. The first actionable step is to adopt the thoughtful pause. In any conversation, especially when asked a question, resist the urge to answer immediately. Take a full, deep breath. Hold eye contact. Let the silence sit for a moment. This simple act makes you appear more thoughtful and makes your eventual answer more impactful. The second step is to become a master listener. Enter conversations with the primary goal of understanding the other person, not of formulating your own response. Ask clarifying questions. Let the other person speak until they are completely finished. Often, you will find that no response is required from you at all, beyond your attentive, silent presence. The benefits of practicing noble silence are profound. You will immediately be perceived as more thoughtful, more powerful, and more mysterious. People will be more careful with their words around you, as your silence commands a higher standard. You will gain a much deeper understanding of situations and people, as you will be observing and listening with your full attention. You will avoid countless misunderstandings and arguments born from careless, impulsive speech. You will feel a deep sense of inner calm and control, liberated from the anxious need to perform verbally. Your practice for this lesson is to identify one meeting or conversation today where you will consciously practice the thoughtful pause. This silence is the training ground where you learn to transform raw, chaotic emotion into clear, objective thought. In our next lesson, we will explore this alchemical process. Let us know in the comments one situation where you could use more silence. Lesson 4. From emotion to objective thought. Imagine a chaotic battlefield, covered in the smoke and fog of war. A terrified soldier, caught in the middle of the fray, sees only terrifying, confusing shadows. He reacts to every sound, every movement with fear and panic. His emotions are his reality. High on a hilltop, overlooking the same battlefield, stands a general. The fog has not yet reached him. He sees the battlefield with a cold, clear, objective perspective. He sees not terrifying shadows, but the clear movements of enemy troops. He sees not just chaos, but strategy. This ability to see beyond the fog of emotion to the clear landscape of reality is a key Stoic power. The inner conflict we face is that we are the terrified soldier, constantly living inside the emotional fog of our own making. The fundamental problem with allowing our emotions to be our perception is that emotions are terrible guides to reality. They are irrational, biased, and self-centered. When you are in the grip of anger, you will interpret every neutral event as a personal attack. When you are in the grip of anxiety, you will see every small challenge as a potential catastrophe. Your emotions are like a distorted lens that warps everything you see. To make decisions based on this distorted view is to guarantee that you will make poor choices. You are reacting to a phantom world created by your own feelings, not to the objective reality of the situation. This is why a small disagreement can escalate into a massive fight, or a minor setback can lead to a spiral of despair. You are fighting shadows in the fog. The transformative solution is to train yourself to become the general on the hilltop. It is the disciplined practice of stepping back from your immediate emotional reaction and striving to see the situation with objective, rational clarity. The core Stoic idea that powers this is the distinction between impressions and judgments. The external event is the impression. It is the raw data. The emotional story you tell yourself about the event is the judgment. The Stoics' work is to stop the automatic process of fusing the two. They learn to hold the raw impression in their mind and examine it with reason before allowing an emotional judgment to rush in and create the fog. Your fourth daily task is to practice objective translation. This is a powerful journaling exercise that trains you to separate fact from feeling. When you are upset about an event, take out your journal. On one side of the page, write down the emotional story. Let yourself write it all out: the blame, the fear, the anger, the catastrophic narrative. On the other side of the page, you must now act as a detached journalist and write down only the objective report. The objective report can only contain things that a video camera would have recorded. For example, the emotional story might be, "My boss hates me and deliberately humiliated me in the meeting to make me look stupid." The objective report would be, "During the 10 a.m. meeting, while I was speaking, my boss interrupted me and stated that there were several errors in my report." This practice physically separates the emotional fog from the clear landscape of facts. The benefits of this practice are the benefits of true mental clarity. You will stop creating unnecessary suffering for yourself by telling yourself catastrophic stories that are not based in fact. You will be able to solve your problems more effectively because you will be dealing with the real problem, not the emotional phantom. Your relationships will improve as you will stop reacting to your own distorted perceptions of others' intentions. You will develop a reputation as a clear-thinking, level-headed individual, the general who can see the whole battlefield while others are lost in the smoke. Your practice for this lesson is to take one thing that is upsetting you today. Perform the objective translation exercise. Feel the power that comes from separating the story from the reality. To see the world with this clarity, you must be a student of wisdom. In our next lesson, we will explore the depths of Stoic wisdom. Share this video if you are ready to clear the fog. Lesson 5. The depths of Stoic wisdom. Imagine an immense ancient library, filled with the accumulated knowledge and wisdom of the ages. A foolish person might enter this library and boast that they have read every book, memorized every title, and can quote from every scroll. But their life is still a mess. A wise person, a Stoic, enters the same library, chooses one single profound book, and spends a year not just reading it, but striving to live it. They absorb its lessons so deeply that it changes the very way they think, act, and perceive the world. Which of these two has truly understood the purpose of the library? The inner conflict we face is our modern tendency to treat wisdom as a form of intellectual entertainment. We consume an endless stream of quotes, articles, and videos, mistaking this consumption for genuine philosophical practice. The problem with this shallow approach is that it creates a philosophical tourist. You have a superficial knowledge of many ideas, but a deep, embodied understanding of none. This can lead to a dangerous form of intellectual arrogance, where you believe you are wise simply because you can talk about wisdom. This creates a painful gap between your sophisticated knowledge and your undisciplined life. You know what Marcus Aurelius said about adversity, but you still crumble at the first sign of it. You can explain the dichotomy of control, but you still spend your days consumed with worry about things you cannot control. This unlived philosophy is not only useless, it is a source of inner conflict and hypocrisy. The transformative solution is to stop being a tourist and to start being a deep-sea diver. It is the commitment to go beyond the surface-level consumption of Stoic ideas and to dive into the profound depths of the philosophy through dedicated study and, most importantly, dedicated practice. The core Stoic idea is that philosophy is not a pastime, it is a medicine for the soul. It is an art of living, a techne tu bio. Its purpose is not to be interesting, but to be transformative. The great Stoics, Zeno, Seneca, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, were not just thinkers, they were practitioners, constantly striving to embody the principles they taught. To find true Stoic wisdom, you must follow their example and make it the central project of your life. Your fifth daily task is the study of the sage. This means dedicating just 15 to 20 minutes each day to the deep, reflective reading of one of the great Stoic texts. Do not read for speed or quantity. Your practice is to read slowly with a pen in hand until you find one single sentence or idea that resonates with you, that challenges you, or that speaks directly to a problem you are facing. When you find that sentence, you stop reading. The second part of the practice is to write that sentence down in your journal, and then underneath it, write your own reflections. Ask yourself, what does this truly mean? Why is it difficult? How can I apply this one idea in a small way to my life today? This transforms reading from a passive act into an active, transformative dialogue. The benefits of this practice are immeasurable. You will move beyond the superficial life hacks and begin to build a deep, coherent philosophical framework for your life. You will find that the ancient wisdom of the Stoics is incredibly practical and relevant to your modern problems. You will develop a source of guidance and strength that is profound and unwavering. You will no longer be just quoting the Stoics. You will begin to think like one. You will be building a deep and intimate relationship with some of the greatest minds in human history. Your practice is to choose one of the great Stoic texts, Meditations, Letters from a Stoic, or the Discourses. Tomorrow, read for just 15 minutes, find one sentence, and journal about it. This deep wisdom is what allows us to build the architecture of inner dominance. In our next lesson, we will explore how to construct this powerful inner state. Lesson 6. The Architecture of Inner Dominance. Imagine a master architect designing a great, unbreachable fortress. They do not just throw up walls randomly. They create a detailed, coherent blueprint. They design strong foundations, interconnected towers, fortified gates, and a central keep. Every part of the structure works in harmony with every other part to create a system of absolute defensive power. This fortress is your character. The architecture is your philosophy. And the state of being it creates is inner dominance. The inner conflict we face is that we often try to build our character haphazardly. We work on our confidence one week, our discipline the next, our emotional control the week after, without any unifying blueprint. We are building a collection of disconnected outbuildings, not a coherent fortress. The problem with this scattered approach to self-improvement is that it lacks synergy and is not resilient under pressure. Your confidence is not connected to your discipline, so it falters when you feel lazy. Your emotional control is not connected to your core principles, so it deserts you when your ego is challenged. Without a unifying architecture, your various strengths are isolated and easily defeated one by one. You may have strong walls on one side of your personality, but you have left the main gate wide open and undefended. This is not a path to true, unshakable strength. The transformative solution is to consciously adopt Stoicism as the unifying architecture for your inner world. It is the realization that all the different practices and mindsets are not separate, but are interconnected parts of a single, powerful system designed to create a state of inner dominance. The core idea is that a Stoic life is a coherent life. Inner dominance does not mean dominance over others. It means achieving a state of perfect self-mastery, where your reason is the undisputed ruler of your inner kingdom. It is a state where your virtues work in harmony. Your courage is guided by your wisdom. Your justice is tempered by your self-control. Your entire character becomes an integrated, mutually supporting fortress. Your sixth daily task is the thematic integration. This is a weekly reflection that ties all your practices together. At the end of each week, take 20 minutes to review your journal entries from your daily tasks. Look for themes. Your practice is to ask yourself these architectural questions. 1. How did my practice of stillness this week support my emotional control? 2. How did my understanding of the dichotomy of control strengthen my resilience? 3. How did my daily discipline build my confidence? This act of reflection helps you to see the deep connections between the different Stoic practices. You are not just laying stones, you are consciously observing how each stone fits into the grand design of the fortress you are building. The benefits of this integrative approach are the benefits of building a truly powerful and resilient character. You will develop a strength that is not brittle or compartmentalized, but holistic and unshakable. You will find that your progress accelerates as each practice begins to reinforce all the others. You will develop a deep, intuitive understanding of the philosophy as a whole, rather than just a collection of disconnected ideas. You will become the master architect of your own soul, consciously and skillfully creating a masterpiece of inner dominance. Your practice for this lesson is to perform your first thematic integration this weekend. Review your week and find one connection between two different Stoic practices you have tried. This architecture, when fully realized, allows you to live a life of complete emotional mastery. In our final lesson, we will explore this ultimate expression of Stoic power. Lesson 7. A life of emotional mastery. Imagine a master musician who has so completely internalized the principles of their art that they no longer have to think about them. Their fingers move across the instrument with an effortless grace. They are not trying to play with emotion or technique. They are simply a conduit through which beautiful, powerful music flows. They have moved beyond conscious effort to unconscious competence. They have achieved mastery. This is the final stage of the Stoic journey. It is a life of emotional mastery. The inner conflict we face is that we see emotional control as a constant, grim-faced struggle. We are always fighting, always resisting, always wrestling with our own inner world. The problem with seeing emotional mastery as a constant struggle is that it is exhausting and ultimately unsustainable. It frames our inner life as a battle with no end. This can lead to a sense of hopelessness, a belief that true peace is impossible. But the struggle is only a sign that we are still at an early stage of our training. The apprentice blacksmith struggles to lift the heavy hammer. The master wields it with an effortless, powerful grace. The goal is not to struggle forever. The goal is to practice so diligently that the struggle ceases. The transformative solution is to understand that a life of emotional mastery is the natural result of the consistent, long-term practice of all the principles we have discussed. It is not a state of constant, white-knuckled self-control. It is a state of grace, flow, and harmony with your own nature. The core Stoic idea is that through dedicated training, the wise and virtuous response becomes your automatic default response. You no longer have to try to be calm in a crisis. Your trained mind simply is calm. You no longer have to force yourself to see the world rationally. Your perception has been polished to a state of permanent clarity. You have so thoroughly silenced the voice of inner weakness that its whispers are barely audible. This is the culmination of your work. The final daily task is simply the ongoing, lifelong commitment to the path. It is the understanding that your Stoic practice is not something you do to achieve a result. It is simply who you are. It is the commitment to walk the path of the prokopton, the student who is always making progress for the rest of your life. The practice is to integrate the philosophy so completely that it becomes the very architecture of your soul. You are no longer the one building the fortress. You are the fortress. The benefits of this ultimate stage are the achievement of eudaimonia, a life of profound human flourishing. You will experience an unshakable inner peace that is not disturbed by the chaos of the world. You will move through life with a quiet confidence and a powerful, effective grace. You will have achieved true freedom. Freedom from fear, freedom from anger, freedom from the tyranny of your own impulses. you will have silenced the weakness within and unlocked the quiet, unshakable dominance of a man who is the complete master of himself. Your final practice is to look forward and to see this path not as a short-term project, but as the great and noble adventure of your entire life. You have explored the 7 stages of silencing weakness to unlock dominance. From taming the mind to building an unshakable inner citadel, this is the Stoic path to true emotional mastery. Remember, the greatest dominion you will ever achieve is the dominion over your own soul. Thank you for your time and your dedication with Stoic Dominion. If this journey has provided you with value, please support our mission by liking this video, commenting with your own insights, and subscribing for more wisdom on the path to an unshakable life.